The other day, Coach Bob had talked about when he was working with developing the best version of themselves as young men as well as football players, being vulnerable is important.
Yeah.
How does that fit into your holistic approach of, in that same vein of, hey, you're charged with not only getting them to be the best person they can be, but how that funnels into being the best football player they can be?
I think, kind of what he was talking about was for our players to be who we want them to be, they have to feel comfortable in their own skin. And they gotta put their guard down and they gotta let us know when they need help. It's part of growing as a person. And if you always have a mask up on like, I'm fine, and nobody knows what's going on in your life, at times you don't know what they're living through and you can't break through with football information because they have other things going on. So for us, it is about the connection of this team and having a pulse together as a team, working in one direction. But we can't do that if we don't know who each other are and what is going on in our life, and we're not willing to share that mission or that message with one another. So there's a lot of things that we talk about and stress the importance of, but the most connected teams are the best teams, and the players got to feel comfortable in their own skin.
Gotcha. And I believe at Big 12 Media Days, you talked about Kyle Conradi being maybe one of your most talented players at by position, or the most given the position. But across special teams, it looks like, and I ask about punting too holistically, but when you have the level of returner as Nathan Flora, Cam Petaway, and I know you have Jackson, you got other guys that can do that. How good do you feel about that unit, and can you give a kind of a snapshot of what they've looked like so far?
Yeah, really good. We got multiple people back there working right now. Right now Flora has the most reps, and he'll carry the load at running back too. But we got Cam, we got Cody Jackson. There's numerous players back there. JJ Polite has really flashed too. Punt returning is a niche, right? It's an uncomfortable position, and so we're going to play Flora at that position. In years past, I had a safety doing it because he was our most talented player. So if we're going to say special teams is a third of the game, we got to play some of the best players on those units, especially on on the return game at who's catching the ball, and on punt team, that's a trusted position. You lose a punt, you get a punt blocked, I should say, you can lose a game in a heartbeat. I think the percentage is like 75% opportunity that the other team is going to beat you, or chances that the team's going to beat you. So those plays are pivotal, and you only get so many of them, so you got to make them count.
I don't think we've asked you about Jamie's retirement announcement. I guess
Yeah.
what was just your reaction to that news?
Obviously, he's been awesome to me, and obviously he put me in this position. He got me into the door. Now I got to do the rest. This team's got to do the rest. The staff, we got to put in the work to do it. Does it suck? It sucks because I enjoyed my relationship with him and being able to connect with him, and I think he's done an unbelievable job here. Credit to his career of 20 plus years in the work that he's done and how he's transformed this place and putting it on the map. I think one of the things that, it's probably been highlighted numerous times, is the job of a leader in that position is to hire great people, and my job is to prove them right. So, I think President Cook has a great pulse on this university. I think he's got an unbelievable pulse on what he's looking for in leadership to take this place to the next level. And I'll have the opportunity to meet with him again tomorrow. And I still think the future's bright. I'm happy for Jamie and his wife. He deserves this. I knew in taking this he wouldn't be here forever, just by his age. And he told me that. I just thought I'd get a couple more years out of him, but he got me in the door, right? And that's all I can ask for. I'm forever in debt, and I got to do the rest. The staff's got to do the rest. This team's got to do the rest of the way, making sure that this is the best decision he's ever made.
That was going to be my next question. I know you guys had like a 5-minute hiring process, but he did give you an indication of that his time
At some point, yeah. I think he wanted to see Cy-Town finished, and and there's so much change in college football. He won't say this, but I would imagine it's just like, wears you out. Like, you're playing by these rules, now you're not playing by these rules, now you're playing by these rules, now you're not playing by these rules, then these people get punished, now these people don't get punished. It's just like, sometimes it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating as a coach, but you got to put your focus on the things that matter, and you got to finish what you started. And for me, I love solving problems. That's what my life is right now, is like, there's always a problem in my day. I don't care how good my days are. there's always something that could be better, and maybe not like a true issue, but like the stress and anxiety of this position. I love it. At times it drives me nuts with like, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. We could have done this better. Why didn't we do this? And you become hypersensitive about everything. That feeling when you lay down at night, my mind is racing. I don't sleep much, and I haven't ever really. So I'm kind of used to that. I'm just now in charge of so many things, and I'm blessed to be in this opportunity. So I'm definitely not going to complain about what comes with the position for sure.
With so many starting jobs up for grabs heading into this fall camp, now that you're just started week 2, any of those kind of starting to come in a little more focus as far as kind of who your guys are going to be there?
Yeah, and I think there's a good rotation. Which side of the ball do you want me to start on?
Offense.
Okay. Jalen has taken the bulk of the reps with the ones. He's done a really good job. Jalen is so cerebral. He can take in so much information and process and spit out NFL play calls in quick, time, and then adjust things on the move. That could be the separating factor between him and everybody's that he's seeing the picture, and he has the ability to see the picture prior and adjust everybody rather than just know the play call and understand the play. There's so much pre-snap process that happens at that position, and there's a calmness and a leadership presence that he gives us. But those other guys have grown substantially. I'm so proud of Moberly. He's done an unbelievable job, and really has unbelievable talent. Between him and Flores, it's kind of been a battle every day as far as guys that stand out, because Zane has done a great job too. I'm really happy with the 3 guys that we got, and they've been so selfless in this whole approach that it's been about the team. And so really happy with just the leadership and just the energy that those guys have been given. But yeah, Moberly has surely flashed, and I'm proud of his development thus far. And he's going to take another jump. He's just a guy that's just hungry and works his butt off. Hudson Curlin, as a true freshman, has looked really good. And he's going to be a big joker. And he is really, really athletic. And the ball comes out of his hands nicely. For him, this is a lot of information for a true freshman to process in this information. But for the most part, I think he's done a really good job. And he's willing to take coaching, which is half the battle. At running back, between Flores and Cam, they've done an unbelievable job. I'm proud of that group too, because I think we've started to limit Cam and Flores a lot because they're in the return game as far as practice. So as far as not necessarily they're hurt or anything like that, but they take so much reps on special teams because they will be a vital role of that. And I want to make sure that their legs stay underneath of them and that we don't risk soft tissue. But that group in behind has grown. You think of Arnold Barnes, who's come in and he's learning the playbook and he's taking strides every day. He's giving us sparks inside of games. He's a bigger back that will put his pads down and isn't afraid to run through you. Really happy with Caleb Francois, big kid that can run. He's more like a long glider, but he carries 210 pounds. He's really dynamic. He's a freshman that is, you can see in freshmen right away, true confidence, and he has that. He's made some plays already that I don't typically see out of freshmen on day one, and I mean from the intellectual standpoint, not necessarily just like does he know the play and make a good run. I'm talking about like when chaos breaks down, how does he react in that moment, and what is his first thought? And it's usually stand around and the unknown of what I should do in this segment. He just plays, and that's what we're looking for. White Archer, Archie's done a great job. The kid will do anything for this team. He's stood out multiple times. He's doing a lot for us. Easton Miller is kind of everywhere right now, and he's a really cerebral player that can make a ton of plays any way. He can block, he can run, he's a bigger back. I would say you don't really know what we're going to do when Easton's in the game for sure. Rivers coming back slowly but surely. He started to take some reps in there, and I'm happy for his return. And yeah, there's one more I'm missing in there. Gabe Wilson. He's a dynamic player, and he's made some great plays. He made some great plays just yesterday that in a 2-minute situation at the end of what we were doing end of half yesterday. And he's a really smaller player, but he's stout. He's got great contact balance. He's got great vision. For him, it's just the dynamics of everything that goes into the game and in this system. And so there's a lot. There's a lot. The protection part of things is a lot for those guys. Up front, Jake Taylor stood out significantly. Caden Moss has done an unbelievable job. Barrett, I can't say enough about the O-line and how much has been put on their plate and how they've, I feel like that group has worked extremely hard. We could rotate at many positions. Between Colin Amick and Messiah King is kind of a battle going on, as well as Gabe Greenlee. So I won't get too much into the weeds there because there's so much moving parts, but I would say Braden Stevens has stood out significantly. And we got some good freshmen in this class. One is a true development player in Brady Harr that's never played offensive line in his life, but he's a 6'8" kid that gained 40 pounds in 6 weeks here. He's going to be a monster of a human, and he cares. And if you care and you play hard, good things happen. Kingston Futu Ali is going to be a dude. Yeah, he's good, and he's a true freshman, and he's pushing right now to be in the 2 deep. I would say that. He's twitchy. He's really cerebral kid. He can process information extremely fast, really focused. Happy that he, made the decision to come here. Great kid, great family. Benji, big, he's raw to football, but boy, is he talented, and his future is bright. Wide receiver wise, it's kind of a good rotation there, between Evan Boyd and Carter Paps and Cody Jackson. Cody Jackson stands out. He's probably one of our best workers on the entire team. He knows what he's doing. He makes full speed cuts. Great hands. That group is growing in depth because what they lack maybe in certain areas, they make up in consistency inside their play, and they run the routes at the right time, which has made it easier for the quarterbacks to get the ball out on rhythm and on time, which I think is the hardest thing to do in college football. A lot of times you watch things defensively and you see so many broken plays, and you're like, is that a new play? And you see it later, and you just realize that the wide receiver ran the wrong route. But they're uber talented, but they don't know where they're going. The wide receivers have done great. Defensively, at the D-line, tight end wise, Greenlaw, Benetti, Gaylor, AJ Peterson, although he's kind of in that fullback swing role right now. I'm missing a couple there. Edney has done good as a true freshman, really good. Drake DeBon has done good as a true freshman. I don't know if I'm giving you what you want. You can take what it is and spin out a 2 deep if you want, but
Very good there too.
Fortenberry's been great. Yeah, he's been rotating with the ones the whole time. Really a good player and is really smart, and he's an older veteran player that has a lot of reps under his belt. We good there? That's offense and defense. D-line, I'll start in the middle between Bryson Lamb, Hawk. Those guys have been great. Max Balloon has been in this system the longest. This guy, the Wiley vet, he's in year 7. He gives us great snaps. Jared Ramos and Jace Gilbert has been rotationally moving. He's up to 280 something right now, and he's moved inside for us and has bought into that role and has done an unbelievable job as far as committing to that craft. Kamori Moore is a guy that shows flashes. He sprained his foot, so we have him in a boot right now. I'll be back in a couple days. I'm missing somebody on there. DN wise, that's probably a really good rotation there. Jace is the guy that can swing at DN and D tackle. He's got a unique talent with just size and frame. But between Bobby, which is Isaac Terrell, and Lockie, Crawford, Hawkins, that group is really good. Tyler Bernstein has been flashing. Jack Janikowski, he's like a workhorse in there. Chet Andrews has been great. Chet and Jack's game are very similar. They'll play winning football because when they get in there, they're physical and they can dent the edge, and they play with great pursuit and they know what they're doing. I feel really solid about that group and their development. At the linebacker position, Sully is kind of taking the bulk of the 1 reps, but Tristan's right on his heels. Tristan's bought in. Sully's been in the system and he's grown and he's kind of scratching the surface on what he's going to be. He's a really calm kid. I think he was here the other day, right? You guys had the opportunity to meet with him. Unbelievable kid. He comes from a great family, really smart. But it helps that he was part of this last year. And Tristan is, getting his feet wet still, and he's taking steps. And there's flashes in there, and he's chomping at the bit for sure. At the will linebacker spot, Landon Kalsbeck, true freshman, he plays with his hair on fire, and he's done a really, really good job. At the will linebacker position, Carson has taken a bulk of the reps at the 1 spot and has done a really good job. Trying to think of the other guys right now. It's hard to think about it when I just got off the field, but just kind of depends on where we're at in packaging things, sub-packaging things. Trez needs to learn a little bit more, but he's got the talent to do it. It's just getting him the reps that he needs to grow, and he'll grow. I'm very confident in that and what Montrez Smith can do here. I'm missing somebody. Bo Goodwin. Yeah, Bo is flashes. Him and Carson have kind of been rotating at that position. Willie and Malcolm have rotated at the other position. When we sub-package, it's going to look a little different though. So at the corner position, as I say, that's a really good group for us. They're kind of everywhere on the field for us. Between David Coffey and Benny and Seth Johnson, and yeah, that group is really good. I'm missing somebody there too.
Singletary?
Yeah, Jaheim. Jaheim has done a really good job. Between Benny and Jaheim, those guys are like neck and neck fighting for a position. They both flash one day and the other one may mess up some things, but if we can get that group moving with consistency and continue to grasp not just their position, but the overall position of the defense and how it flows together, they'll put themselves on the field, whether it's game 1 or game 3 or 4 or 5. They're too good not to have on the field. At safety, it's been, Drew Surgis is a great football player. Drew, Brody Miller, Micah Harper, those guys are kind of swinging. Demarius had a hammy and he'll be back here in a week or so. That was early. That was kind of like right away. So that's nothing to be concerned about. He's a guy that's kind of been in the system and knows it. And Deron Goodman, when Deron Goodman's playing his best football, when he's locked in and he's focused, he's one of the most dynamic players on the back end because he can play and react and tackle in space, and he's not afraid of contact. So I would say the bulk of players is probably what you knew. Who goes out there first yet? They're still earning it. This is practice 7 right now. The more install that goes in, it will naturally start to separate itself. But for the most part, hopefully that was long enough not to answer a depth chart question. You guys want me to keep going? I could just keep rattling out. Yeah.
Just print out the depth chart next time, we'll be good.
Yeah, that's not happening. But I'll just keep rattling out how everybody's neck and neck.
Appreciate all that.
Yeah.
Anything new since we talked last week as far as injuries and any other guys who have been out maybe that you're kind of working back in?
Kamori will be back in a couple days, who we've limited just due to their history. Dom Overby has been limited. The other day we kept him out, just the long strider. Don't want to risk pulling anything. He didn't pull it, but just want to make sure he's ready to go before he ends up something happens to him. Carter perhaps same thing. So when those guys are out, honestly, it allows us to see the other players too a little easier than trying to always put those guys in. Sometimes you don't. If you do that and you're rotating just older players, you don't see players like Malcolm Watkins enough and JJ Polite enough. Jeff Roberts. Those type of players, if they're young, they're green and they need reps. And so I'm not saying I wish injury upon anything, but you got to get players ready, and how you do that is by taking your time with them and giving them the reps that they need to have success, because it's got to be the best players playing. Dom Overby and Carter are going to be, a part of this offense and have a role, and We just got to make sure that they stay healthy and can continue to have a role. Injuries are going to happen. We play hard. We play really hard on both sides of the ball. Like the defense and offense have been matching each other with physicality. We just got to limit it as much as possible. And so we've had the last several days have been extremely physical. This one today was more situational and time management and trying to take some wear and tear off their shoulders and get them to play fast. And I think today was a really good day. Just we worked a lot of situational football, and I think today in those segments it shows how far along we are schematically and knowledge of understanding the play because everything was under time and pressure today.
Eugene and then Alec.
I'm going to answer one question so long that nobody wants to continue to stay in here.
Bob had mentioned how you guys have a goal of holding opponents to 14 points. While I'm sure you love shutouts, how did you guys arrive at that number as a benchmark?
Used to be
goal?
lower. Yeah, it used to be lower. And it will go lower once we hit it. So yeah, I've said this story before. When I was a player, I was a part of a defense that said that we would give up 17 points. I had a hard time believing that as a player. I came from a high school that shut everybody out. And I know it's high school football and you get to college and they say be more realistic. I just don't live like that. It's the same thing with me picking ourselves. I just believe in doing things and speaking it into existence. You guys would never know that unless I had to speak on things, so it may come across arrogant. I think if you hammer things and you believe in it and your players hear it and they believe in it, you can bring it to fruition if their work ethic and the pattern and how you get your players and how you develop them is on par. When I became defensive coordinator, we changed that point total to 14, and then we hit 17. Because when we had it at 17, we were like 22. Then we changed it to 10. Then we hit like 12. And we kept it at 10. Then we went to 11. Then we went to like 9.97 or something. Then I think in our best year of defense, we went like 9.62. So it happened. You have to get your players to believe in it. They have to execute. You got to put in the work with them to allow it to happen. And if you can hold people to 2 scores, you have a great shot of winning in college football when you look at the top scoring defenses in the country. Will that happen? We got to go execute to make it happen, right? And it goes back to the same things. If you're going to believe in something, they got to feel that. And they got to hear it every single day. And the goal is to be the best defense in the country.
Going back to the offensive line, you guys have limited opportunities with full pads, scrimmage opportunities are limited. Compared to other position groups, is that one harder for you guys to just get a grasp of?
Sorry, ask it one more time.
Yeah, so offensive line, you guys have limited opportunities to have players be at full physicality because of the restrictions with scrimmages and padded practices.
Yeah.
How do you go about evaluating that group when they can't maybe be as physical as they would be on a Saturday, in most instances for you guys in practice?
Yeah, scrimmage means tackling live to the ground. It doesn't mean that you can't knock somebody off the ball. So I know you guys aren't at practice, but it's pretty physical even when we're not in pads. So, yeah, there's a balance more than anything in trying to keep you guys healthy because some of the bumps and bruises and the sprains thus far haven't even been in any type of segment that you would say somebody would get hurt in. They've been in, somebody tweaking their ankle or stepping back on somebody's foot in a walkthrough. So, so far our bumps and bruises haven't been significant as far as the whole team. But yeah, we're going to play a certain way. We have to practice that way. We try to do the best to stay off the ground as much as possible, which in this defensive style and this offensive style, at times that becomes hard. But they've gotten used to that, and they've done a great job with staying off of each other late and pushing each other. The extra push and the late things is what kind of leads to, and the torquing is what leads to injury.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jimmy.